Hello and welcome to Planetside Solo. My name's Neil and I thought I would do two videos, Flying 101 and Flying 102. Basically, well, for two reasons actually. The first is that we normally take Liberator, one of those, and crash it into the ground, into other people and things at the beginning of any of our Planetside series. We're just not very good at flying. Also, when I first got this game, I looked on the YouTubes, as you do, for hints and tips on flying, and I didn't really see any at the time. I don't know if that's changed at all, but basically, it's not too difficult. I'm light as salt at the moment. I'm just going to fly down here to one of these terminals. So this is 101. I'm literally just going to go over the controls and how to fly these things. Nothing more. It might be an ultra short video. 202 will be loadouts and stuff. But basically, you get three types of aircraft from this terminal. You get the Reaver, the Valkyrie, and the Liberator. The Reaver is the ESF. It's a Mosquito if you're Terran Republic, or a Scythe if you're Vanu. The Valkyrie, which everyone gets, it's basically it's a Huey. You get a bunch of squad mates on the side. You put a squad support. Squad logistics system on it. People can spawn in there as long as you've got at least one squad member in there. It's okay, it's slow. I wouldn't recommend starting out with one of these. You'll probably end up crashing into the ground. And then the Liberator, which is the dedicated gunship. You can slap all manner of weapons on the front of it to cause problems as the pilot. The tank buster is quite good for sneaking up on tanks and just opening them up like an old tin can. You've got things like the Shredder and the Dalton, which is AI and AV, anti-vehicle and anti-infantry. But we're going to stick with the ESF because that's probably the easiest thing to do. Slap a radar into it. I'm not going to go through the loadout just yet. But one of the first things you'll notice is when we hit spawn, we're going to be up in the air, and at that point, any players new to the game probably are going to fly into a pylon. So let's spawn. Let's punch out of here. Yeah, I'll go and land it somewhere and just basically go over the vehicle. I don't want to park in the warp gate. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a brain freeze today. It's bloody cold in here. I'm just going to land it here. Press T to external view. A little bit of throttle. Bam, down onto the ground. So what do we have? Well, we have a fighter. What is it good for? Annoying everyone, like literally annoying people. You can put lol pods on there, you can put rockets on there, you can put anti-aircraft weapons on there, you can put all manner of things on here. How do we fly it though? Good question. There are very few controls. Most of it's done in the mouse, so the mouse in your left or right hand, and the other part is the keyboard. I'm right-handed. So I'll just talk about it as a right-handed person, but obviously if you flip the controls, you'll just have to marry them up. So what do you normally do first of all? Well, you press escape. The first thing you do is escape. You go to general, and you've got the invert vertical fly. Put a tick in that box. Right, I mean, seriously, put a tick in that box. That means that when you push forward on the mouse, everything goes sort of banks downwards, the nose goes down. When you pull back, the nose goes up. It's basically the same as you would have on a flight sim or any other flying game, and is quite important. If you push the mouse forward, yeah, bad things happen. You might end up just crashing into the ground. Always invert your vertical fly in any game like this. The other controls you're going to want to know, well, let's press E and jump into it. Let's press T. So T toggles between internal view and external view. If you hold down middle mouse button, you can also look around the cockpit on the internal view. This is very important because the mouse is actually controlling your pitch and your roll. If you don't press down middle mouse button and you want to look around, you might actually just roll it into the ground. H is also another good button to know. That minimizes and maximizes the map. Now, I like to have the map quite big. The hatched area in front of us is the edge of the map itself, edge of the engagement zone itself. So you fly into the hatched area, you're probably going to blow up after about 10 seconds. Other controls to note. Well, the flying controls, for a start. Spacebar is going to get us off the ground, so if you press T, and I hold down spacebar, we're going up. Our undercarriage has automatically disappeared up into the airplane, so we don't need to worry about undercarriage controls. And if we allow it to come back down towards the ground, what should happen is those little landing skids should come out again. So let's do that. Slow us down by just tapping the spacebar. And yeah, there we go. And we're down. So we're up. Undercarriage is up. So the mouse is, I'm just moving that around at the moment. Let's press T to go inside. So pushing forward makes the nose go down. Pulling back makes the nose go back. And if we reset, pushing to the right rolls everything to the right. Pushing to the left rolls everything to the left. And if I tap spacebar, we can actually strafe left by strafe right by rolling right and just tapping the spacebar. We can roll left, tap spacebar, and we can strafe left. So strafing is fairly easy to do in this. If we pull back, if we crash into the ground, if we pull back and tap the spacebar, is there anything we can see? Oh yeah, we can go backwards slowly, but we can go backwards. And if we push forwards and tap the spacebar, it'll push us forwards. So basically, the spacebar, the thrust from the bottom of the ESF, does actually move you around. It can be used to hover, but it can also be used to strafe, and it can also be used to push you forward and back gentle. Now, the other controls on the keyboard, apart from the spacebar, are A and D. Now, A and D are yaw. So if I push A and hold it, we're going to spin around. Spin around on the spot. There we go. We are spinning around. And if I press D, we're going to spin around the other way. There we go. We're spinning around. This is useful. Normally, if you're used to flight simulators, your controls don't work after a certain speed. In this, they work at all speeds. So you really don't need to worry about your sort of fading out after a while. You can use it all the time. The last controls you're going to need to know are W and S. Now W and S are the throttle controls. It's throttle up and throttle down. They are sticky. So if you push and hold W, so you go and you push and hold it, you speed up all the way, and then you can let go. Now my hands are off the keyboard and the mouse. We're not doing anything. In fact, I can fly just by rolling to the left, pulling back to bank, and I can literally fly just on the mouse. W is the W has done its job. The throttle is sticky. It's all the way forward. I'm sort of flying around. I can go up. I can go up. I can go down. It's not great. I'd rather have my hand on the keyboard because that's how you normally fly. But if I push and hold S, the throttle goes down, and we are now into a hover. I'll show you what that looks like from outside as well. So outside, we're in a hover at the moment, and I'm going to push and hold W. I'm going to use a little bit of A as well, just to get us around that corner. Head back towards the warp gate, and hands off the keyboard. So visually, if I hold down S, as we slow down, the vents, the wings and everything, they're going to point towards the ground, and the slower we go, the more towards the ground they point. So there's a little visual cue there as well as to how fast you are or are not going. The very last control, so after we've got the roll, the pitch, the yaw and everything sorted out, is the afterburner. The afterburner is a get out of dodge button. Basically, if someone's coming after you, I should really stop saying basically. If someone's coming after you, if you're being shot at, if something's happening that you really don't like, push shift, you get a burst of afterburner and you go very, very quickly. And then it'll recharge over time. It doesn't disappear forever, it will recharge over time. And that is about all you need to know. You can put everything together. You can circle strafe towers, you can just have a look and sort of be generally annoying. I think control on the keyboard will put you down if you desperately need to lose altitude quite quickly. So if I push and hold down control, but it's not a button that I use regularly. Let's just pick a tower and circle strafe it, just to show you all the controls together. So what I'm going to do is come up to this tower, hold S. There is a button that you can use to actually cut the throttle immediately. It's one of the key bindings. I'm not going to go into that because remapping keys is not what we're here for. We're just literally here to show you how to fly. So I'm tapping spacebar at the moment. Now this is the standard gun on it. If I push and hold the right mouse button, this is the optic coming up. This is a thermal optic on there. And what I can do is I can just look at this tower. If this was an enemy tower and there were people running around, I could use A and D, for example, just to move the gun around. I can push and hold left mouse button and just put bullets through the tower. If I wanted to strafe the tower, what I could do is I could push the mouse, say, to the right, and I could push, and I could just use A to keep the nose where I want it. And just tap the space bar, probably about as much as I'm tapping A at the moment, and just use the mouse to correct up and down. And we can strafe this tower. We can look. We can look inside the tower. There's a little bit of a hill there, there we go. We can look at both levels, and we don't need to be in a rush. There's no need to be in a rush. If I'm getting a bit too close to the tower, I can pull the nose up. Literally just tap the space bar. A little bit of control brings us down, but again, I don't really like using that. And we're away from the tower, so let's just show you what that looks like. There is one other feature that you're probably going to need to know, and well, two other features actually. The first is when you get too close to the ground, when you get sort of within landing range of the ground, you'll start hearing stones and things moving around. So it's just T, and that couples with a visual, like a little dust cloud, and that means you're getting very close to the ground itself. Now I'm not going to land here because it's on a hill. So let's hold down W and A. Let's take a hand off the keyboard. We're going to go in here. Last thing. Oh, I should probably let go of that. If you want to rearm because you've fired a bunch of your rounds, you've been shooting away, you can press R to reload the weapon. But if you've got no bullets left, well, you're going to need one of these landing pads. You cannot rearm at the where is it? At the ammo towers. I think you can rearm at Sunderers. So I'm going to hold down A, just tap the space bar a little bit. Let's go here. It's close enough. A little bit W. Oh, that guy's probably going to be a problem for us. And just land on here, or even just get close to it. You don't need to land. See how close I am. I'm quite a way off of it. I can just drop down and land on it. Let's just burn out of there so that nobody chucks C4 on our face, because that is the want of players. And we're flying. We can just keep rolling the mouse around, and a little bit of yaw to stop us sort of falling out of the sky, maybe. Done. So that's 101. That's literally flying in a nutshell. And once you've got the physical controls, and once you know what these things can do, you can basically just go somewhere on a quiet map. Ezim is quite quiet because there was an alert. It's over. Other maps have opened up, and I can just fly around fairly freely, as long as I press M, bring up the map, which might take a while to draw. Mouse wheel out. Yeah, so the fight's quite a way away, and I'm free to just to get some airtime, which is good. So with 202, what we're going to do is look at loadouts and things. You can probably already guess what kind of loadout I usually go for by the big Smarty on top. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, not the world's best pilot. Probably not even close to being an average pilot, but I can keep this thing in the air, and it doesn't turn into a pancake, which is the important thing. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you next episode, and until then, bye bye.